r/traumatize them back. A place to share stories of getting your emotional licks back in on someone who, whether knowingly or not, says something a little too far beyond the pale. I don't want to spoil what these stories are for you just yet, but some of the titles we'll be reading are honestly quite ominous. It's not for me, it's for everyone else. This sounds like going, this is for your own good, before you proceed to shoot someone in front of their best friend. Sex ed from dad? Trust that one sounds worse than it is, but I'm sure it made your eyebrows raise, didn't it? You know, this video is a little different than usual, in part because I'm stealing from someone new, hi Clicky Poo, and also this is a bit more of an unscripted video for me. I've skimmed the posts to see if they're worth the coverage, but I've done my best to not spoil the punchline of the entire thing for them. I feel like getting some of my raw reactions going in might be the name of the game here. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, then let me know, and maybe we can experiment with the format more. If you enjoy this video, this card at the end will take you to another one like it. Also, less than 20% of y'all are subscribed with notifications on. If you sub and hit the bell icon, you'll never miss an upload, and you can always undo it later. Now, the content warning is kinda implied in the trauma bit, but I did pick some lighter examples as there isn't really anything that graphic in this video. That subreddit in general, though, can get grim in its gotchas if you choose to read further on your own, though. You were right the first time. I, gay, had a friend bi who was blind and used a white cane when walking. Most literal example of love is blind I've ever seen, but good for him. However, with friends he trusted, he preferred to walk holding on to their elbow. Seems fair to me. When we went to the local shopping center, we would often get dirty looks as people would think, ugh, gays. Odds on the people thinking that the most were other gay people. Y'all should see how they talk to each other on Discord servers and in their group chat. If you didn't know, you'd think that you were in the middle of a hate meeting. But then the bystanders would see the folded up white cane and their faces would go, oh, he's blind. My friend and I would talk about it and laugh. You know, you got to about things like this. Well, one day, this happened, and I was in a particularly petty mood. Yep, gay person gets petty. We know how this is gonna end. Walking towards me and my friend were a middle-aged couple. Cue the ugh gay's face as they got closer than the oh, he's blind face. I like to imagine that these two different expressions are exactly the same across all people. I mean, they're probably the people with the sample size the largest of experiencing both to know, so you gotta take it on their word here. But as they got right in front of us, I looked straight at them and smiling and said loudly, no, you were right the first time. Telepathy. Then we carried on laughing as we went. Does that count as a drive-by? I imagine as the old couple made the faces, it was just gunshot noises with each changed expression. And Nuke goes off when it's like, ha, read your mind. Actually, we are fat. Bambi trauma neutralized by a 4-year-old. This one is marked for spoilers for the plot of Bambi. I guess I should communicate that to you as well, just to do the courtesy, but something about that is inherently funny. When my kid was 4, we had a family movie night. It was one kid, 2 parents, an auntie, and grandma. The title gave it away, but take a guess at which of these was the least traumatized by seeing what happened in there. Grandma picked Bambi, but the 4-year-old protested. Boring! Grandma was worried it would be traumatizing, but I said it would be fine. If the kid is bored, the kid can play or read. Let's see if this kid has his taste in media developed this well into his single digits. Did he correctly predict his reaction? Okay, here's the spoiler alert. So at the end of Act 2, Bambi's mom is killed off screen by a hunter. All the grown-ups were holding their breath to see if the kid would cry or scream, or if they even understood what just happened. I like to imagine the grown-ups were actually just reliving the trauma they felt as a kid when they watched this, expecting everybody to be as weak. The kid sensed the energy in the room. Up, empath. He turned around and tried to reassure us. Exactly, empath. It's okay. The mommy dear is dead, but at least she left tracks in the snow. That way, if they ever do a true crime video on her, they'll be able to find exactly where she died and who done it. Since they left tracks, they can find her. And then when they find her, Bambi can eat her like baby spiders eat their mommies. Okay, this is actually new for me. Do baby spiders eat their mother? Okay, second autocomplete, so I gotta imagine it's real. Okay, yeah, they actually do. Why does that kid know that much about spiders already? I grew up watching Spider-Man. Certainly in the comics, they would have made a joke about how Spider-Man probably ate his own mother and that's why she's dead if this was the case. Shouldn't this be more well-known? The kiddo was very amused by our expressions of horror, mogged by a 4-year-old. Many such cases. This story is, it's not for me, it's for everyone else. I have, to put it lightly, bad lungs. Specifically, whenever I get a cough/cold, the infection runs its course, but the cough lingers for weeks, if not months. I have the same thing, except it's just mucus. Like, I will have a runny nose for like 3 years after the last time I got a cold, and then it will never actually fully clear up, and I can't smell things to this day as a result. It's super annoying. Thanks, Dad. I got my bad lungs from him. And you'd think in a father who passed this down to you, you'd have a confidant who could help you through the process, until you remember that dads are old people. I had a cold recently. Usually the severe hacking and coughing and phlegm lasts about a week. Then it's just my lungs throwing a fit about random dust dust particles for the next 3 to 5 weeks. I highly recommend an air purifier, a humidifier. I'm sure you already use those things, but to anybody in the audience who might be dealing with this, see if that helps. If it doesn't, you may have mold in your house. I was wearing a mask during this because I might be a walking, talking disease vector, but I didn't want to get other people sick. Nah, bro, if I had swine flu, I'd be like a super spreader just for the fun of it. I talk with my parents a few times a week. I moved to a completely different country a few thousand miles away, so phone calls and weekly family Zooms are all we get. I mentioned I've been coughing a lot and wearing a mask, and my mom, who is a pathologist by the way, said that masks don't really work and stuff like that. So I told her that I'm not interested in spewing germ-filled spit and other bodily fluids into the open air. The mask was not for me. It was for everybody else. Their own good. Listen, me personally, I might be sick as fuck, but that's not why I wear this mask. It's because it's not a mask at all, bro. This is my face. This vagina-looking mouth you see, that's what you get. That is where these words are coming from. That kind of shut them up for a few seconds, but then my mom replied that masks wouldn't stop the spread of my cough. Which, yes, I'm aware, but it's still better than nothing. Then she just changed subjects. Honestly, even if it's just a runny nose, I'll wear a mask on a plane a lot because not breathing in all the dust and stuff, the like actually physical thick particulates, makes it so I have to go to the airplane bathroom to blow out a several pound booger several times the flight. It's purely practical. The bouncer thinks I go to the bathroom too often. This barely qualifies as trauma, but I found it amusing. That's my favorite kind of trauma. Most Fridays, I hit a bar close to my place after work. It's a nice place, never any issues, and should I overindulge, it's a short walk home. Odds on this guy living in America, a bar you can walk to? Give me a break. Most fathers in their 50s are going to a bar on weekends and driving home 6 beers deep. Fridays and Saturdays, they do karaoke, and most of the people who sing are actually pretty good. I'm here often enough that the tenders know what I like to drink. I come alone, keep to myself, usually browsing Reddit and or playing a game on my phone. I mean, that's certainly an option, man. I guess some people just like the ambience of being in public and doing solo tasks. Just the cost of those drinks, if you're having any at all. Anyway, on to the actual story. I was on beer 2 when the bouncer came in for his shift. He's a decent guy. The most I've seen him do was get a patron out from behind the bar trying to get the tender's attention. On beer 3, I went to the bathroom yet again. Maybe the 4th or 5th time since he came in. I fuck with anybody who bladder maxes. I don't really care what their reason is. All this don't break the seal when you go out bullshit, I just don't buy it, man. Your dick was made to piss lasers. He stopped me on the way in. The bathroom is next to where he's posted and said something about the amount of times I went into the bathroom. Cue my minor trauma. I said, yes, I tend to go to the bathroom quite often. Bladder cancer will do that to you. I mean, if I want to think about this as positively and callously as possible, maybe the cancer was a reminder that your bladder is meant to pee. I'm going to hell. The change in his expression and his stammering apology was sort of satisfying, lol. I mean, listen, if you're gonna go through like something traumatic no matter what it is, the only thing you really get out of it is getting to use it as a gotcha later in your life. I told him it was no big deal because he had no way to know, but I did have a bit of a chuckle about it while I was in the bathroom. Imagine just like you're at the urinal giggling to yourself while the guy next to you just kind of like awkwardly side-eyes you without trying to turn his head so you don't realize that he's looking at you. Edit to add, I did ask him if I'd exhibited any other behavior that was concerning to him, and he said no. Also, there was one night I did get fairly drunk, and he rightly assured I didn't get in my car. Hey, good on him, man. He just seems like a genuinely concerned guy, but, you know, sometimes being a good person will fire back on you. You know, like piss hitting the urinal. My failed attempt to traumatize them back. I was 25 and had been married for just about a month. I happened to be in the ladies' room at work, the one out on the manufacturing floor. I had an office upstairs, so I usually just used the restrooms up there. Okay, Mrs. Executive Bathroom, good for you. The sink in this ancient shop floor bathroom was a large round fountain you operated with a foot bar. You're describing it like a Greek bathhouse, dude. Do you work in like the ruins of Pompeii where things are somehow still operable? So 10 old women were all washing their hands together. I really loved the women in the shop because they were so motherly towards me. Okay, that is a good sign. Having a good rapport with the person who you're trying to gotcha and having it backfire on you means that it might have less repercussions in the workplace. As such, they would ask very personal questions, and I had gotten kind of tired of it. So I thought I had a good plan for the next time it happened, and of course, what better opportunity than washing hands together? Okay, this seems like a really frequent communal activity, I'm not gonna lie. This sweet but nosy lady says, so, when are we about to get some good news about a baby? Me, when I have sex! Uproarious laughter from them all. This sweet but nosy lady shouting over the noise. What have you been doing all this time? I like to imagine it was completely deadpan, like just straight disappointment. Why do you think we being all motherly to you? We're trying to coach you. We see you're in the dumps right now and all the effort we're putting in just leads to you still getting no play? What was the point? Don't expect us to give you this kind of help again. Of course, I turned beet red amid their laughter and headed back to the offices. I'm so lucky that I loved them and they loved me because that look was always on their faces whenever they saw me after that. Listen, shit might seem sweet right now, but make no mistake, the dynamic has changed. Long ago when I was young, my friend and I went to a block party and this dude was trying to pick us both up at the same time. The usual not interested stuff didn't work, then suddenly my friend winks at me, I wish I could demonstrate that for you, and tells him to come back to our car. She owns a horse and had a trunk full of tack that needed to be cleaned. This guy is thinking all his fantasies are about to come true, but when she opens the trunk, reaches in, and pulls it out a bridle, all you could really see was leather and chains, and she hands it to him and says, "Put this on." Not even get in the car and do it when we get back to my place. Not even in the car, just in the parking lot. Now. Never seen a man run so fast in my life. I know some of y'all watching this would be the best day of your life. Here we have the infamous sex ed from dad one. My dad was the only male teacher at our elementary school, and thus handled the boys' sex ed talk for all class. My brother was a class clown. This is like the worst possible thing to be if your parent's the teacher. They know you inside and out. The teachers don't know how you are at home. Your dad does. When his grade had the sex ed class, he thought it would be a great opportunity to show off in front of all the boys. Bad call. This is just the hubris of man. I don't know what to tell you. The dad asks, "Are there any questions?" Brother goes, "Can you tell us what a blowjob is?" Dad says, "Your mother can tell you all about it." That was just hard to read, dude. I know he's like only in 5th grade, but even elementary schoolers can tell when their mom calls them a son of a bitch, all they have to say is, "Yeah." You tried to do the equivalent of your mom thing on the one dude you can be certain is banging your mom. I just witnessed a massacre. Supermarket aisle. Earlier this evening, a 20-something man carried a baby in a sling and is trying to shop in peace, only to be accosted by an older woman. Making eye contact with him then me, she loudly proclaims, "I love to see a man doing the babysitting. Are you giving his mom a break?" To which he replies, "I am her mom. I just haven't had a chance to look after myself much with a newborn." Clearly dying inside, the woman sputters, bows backwards, apologizing, and disappears around the corner. He then casually says to me, "I'm her dad, really. I just don't like when they call it babysitting." Yeah, I'd be mad too, bro. Like, that's my kid. I'm raising this little fuck. Don't let them hear any different. It was legendary. Perhaps the greatest thing I've ever seen in real life. I laughed so hard, especially when I rounded the corner and realized she'd heard him, dumped her trolley, and run out the shop. Odds on this actually having happened? Very low. Odds on it still being funny? Very high. Oh, here we have it. Christ, popular posts attract some nasty behavior. I don't understand. What pleasure do you get by reporting me to Reddit? You need to examine your lifestyle, man. Get a hobby. Try jogging. Something you can do without friends. Holy shit, I am not scrolling down any further. I don't care how much you elaborate. I'm just gonna let this live as an out-of-context little anecdote that amuses me in my brain for the rest of time. Guy asks for my body count and calls me a whore, so I turn it back on him. As you should, Slay Queen. Not gonna lie, you're a really nice girl. Do you wanna maybe go out sometime? Sure. What time? Seriously, this is like the easiest follow-up question of all time to answer. Wait, I just need to verify one more thing. Imagine if he just jumped into this like Fansly ID verification process. Yeah, I need you to send a picture of your ID and then a picture of you holding your ID with your face in the camera. Question mark. But he asked, "What's your body count?" I forgot. Give me a second. 3 tours in Iraq plus. Are we counting like manslaughter charges since it's not intentional? Or are we really only like factoring murder into this? I don't see how that matters. Oh, are you one of those girls who think their body count don't matter, but it doesn't really? Limfao. Oh, so you're one of those sluts. Dude, she literally said yes. Why did you fumble so hard? Okay then, what's your body count? I forgot. Oh, that high, man, that you just slips your mind? That's a little embarrassing. Just give me a rough estimate. I just want to check how many vaginas your cock has bitten. It's a double standard, so you don't really hear body counts coming up when a woman asks a dude it. Just it being described as the amount of vaginas your penis has bitten is funny to me. You see, penises shrink if placed inside too many vaginas. It makes them unpure. I saw it on TikTok, so it must be true. Stop being a creep, man. I swear to God, if you're a whore, just say that. Yeah, says the dude with the shrinking weenie. If your cock is small, just say that then. I'm blocking you. I thought you were different. Women these days. Lamau. Okay, bye. Elegant, straight to the point. Again, potentially fake. Who'll give a damn? Straighten your back, this one is called. This is short and sweet, but I loved it. This happened many years ago when I was in my late 30s. I worked in a related department with this super nice older lady for several years. Always pleasant, a churchgoer, oh no, motherly kind of lady. We are standing in the hallway doing a tour with 2 other people, and while the other 2 people are talking, she reaches over and pats my upper back and tells me that I should straighten my back. You know, I feel like I just have passive nerd neck, so I feel like I'm prey for the same criticism. I look straight in her face and tell her I have scoliosis. I just can't straighten my back like everybody else. I didn't choose this. I didn't watch her face because I was so uncomfortable, but I'm sure she was mortified. She was either mortified, and that's why she never brought it up again, or she pitied you. That wouldn't be right if she did that. She should be uncomfortable. Way more than you ever were. I really do have mild scoliosis, though. Diagnosed when I was a young child. I love how that's clarified at the end, like it's the least believable part of the whole thing. Like, yeah, people have scoliosis, man. That's totally fair. It's just boggling my mind that this woman wouldn't think to be like, I wonder if there's a reason for this. There's no way period cramps hurt that bad. Listen, fellas, if you're ever a dude and you ever think you understand how much pain a woman goes through, probably just don't comment on it. I wouldn't go as far as to say this was traumatizing, but it's definitely an experience, alright? My older brother is a nice dude, except they called him elder brother, like he's like the wizened old monk in a monastery. He cares about me a lot, even if we fight all the time. One of the most recurring fights is whenever I'm on my period. I would complain about period cramps and he would laugh and say, "It's not that bad. I get muscle cramps all the time. Why do I have to share like chromosomes with this kind of dude? Like, you are just setting us all up for failure. Girls just have to learn to ignore the pain and brave it through." I would get pissed off and tell him that he doesn't know what it's like, and that is how most of our fights began. Last week, my guy best friend bought a period cramp simulator since he was curious what it was like. And you know, at least that's something. Somebody who recognizes they don't know what it's like and seeks to gain new experiences, even if not perfectly. We tested it out together, and I would say it's pretty accurate. Okay, maybe I'll try that for a video one day. We had a good laugh, and that was that. But right now, I'm on my period. I was complaining about cramps again, and that's how another fight with my brother started. Nothing unusual, and I told my guy best friend about it. So he suggested using the simulator on my brother. Put that motherfucker in the torment nexus. When I asked my brother, he said he was okay since he didn't think it would hurt that much. It basically went like this. Okay, man, are you ready? Yeah, there's no way period cramps hurt that bad, right? Just put it to level 5. Okay, level 5. And then he starts squealing. Chipmunk mode activated. Now, whenever I complain about my cramps, he just offers to buy me candy. Lesson sorta learned? I mean, sometimes you gotta beat it into him the tough way, huh? Anyways, that's all I got for this video. If you guys enjoyed this format, please let me know, because I feel like I could make longer videos this way if y'all enjoy it enough. That card I mentioned should be on screen now. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see y'all next time.